Back with another game. We're at 506 elo. Again, we're going to continue this kind of speed run Journey to 2000 series. So again, we're 506. We're playing a 5-minute game. I'm going to go ahead and zoom it out. All right, so we're playing black this game. This is one of the first games we're playing black as. Okay, let's see. So the queen's game or the queen's pawn opening, and he's gambiting a pawn is what I see. So again, at 500 elo, I'm going to try and explain this like I'm 500 elo. If you're 500 elo and they're gambiting a pawn and you see no reason why they're gambiting it, then you should take it. So we take that pawn. They gambit another pawn. Okay. I don't know why I can't remember this opening, what it's called. Okay. I don't think I've seen this. It says the black mark Gedult. I don't know how to say that. I don't I haven't seen this, so we're gonna find out what this opening's about. So we're gonna take the two pawns. Generally, you shouldn't, and actually, what White's doing by giving up two pawns for development is a very good idea. But we're just gonna develop two, and we're gonna see what their attack has in mind. That is a horrible move. That has to be a mouse slip. That they must have meant to bring their bishop out, because that is not at all a reasonable move. That's losing almost immediately. You never move your king unless you're castling. So what we're gonna do is first we're gonna pin this knight, okay? Because they okay, so they're going back. So it was some kind of mouse slip. Now what you'll notice here, we actually have a move. You could take this, and after they take here. Of course, it does hang this pawn, so it's not the move that I'm really looking to play. The move though, let's see. Let's bring we'll bring the knight out. So we're attacking this pawn. Honestly, if I was, well, they're not even going to defend it, so we can actually take it. Yeah, we can, I believe. Oh, there's a trap. We can't take it. The idea is, so if I take this pawn, let's say castles, if I were to go down this line, which maybe I can, there's this idea where they can sack the bishop on f7, and then after the king takes, it's called attraction, when the king is forced to take, and then the queen hangs. But the queen is protected by the rook. Really, I don't see any real threat. Okay, they're hanging their queen, but this is checkmate. So they're trying to trick me. Actually, are they a legitimate player? February 10th. I don't know. Because that to me is a hard move to find. And the idea, if I go here, they can just simply take this and win a piece. It's crazy that they found this. Could go here. I don't see why not. Yeah, that was checkmate. That's a crazy move. Crazy move to find. Maybe they're legitimate, maybe not, but we're going to take and probably attack, or probably take with the rook if they trade queens. Okay, they don't trade queens. Now, of course, we're having a hard time developing with this pawn being blocked. So let's start maybe by here. We start here. The idea is we're attacking this pawn. We're also attacking this pawn. We also can castle queenside if we want to. Okay. Wow, they're playing very strong moves. We could go here. Well, maybe not. And if castles, there's this idea. But then we can take the queen. But if castles, queen takes queen, and then this, I don't know how it goes. I'm not a fan. I'm getting outplayed here. I'm really starting to question, is this person a legitimate player? Okay, we're gonna castle. We're gonna focus on piece activity. If I were playing white in this position, I probably would trade, and then so that I can get this kind of fork. But we're gonna take this way, so they still can win this pawn. Okay. I'm really not certain that this player is legitimate. Really not certain. Okay. I don't know, because this walks into that fork. And if I go here, they have this move. There's really no good move. I'm really debating if this player is legitimate. So we may be facing a cheater. Maybe something I need to pay more attention to. I don't know. All right, this will be the tell. If I go here and they play this move, I think they're cheating. Because this move is, I don't think a 500 is finding this move. That move is reasonable. Gosh. We're going to have to sack the exchange, I think. I don't know. I'm getting crushed. I have 30 seconds left, and they're going for these attacks. We could go here and try to hide behind the pawn. That's a good idea. I have 20 seconds, so I'm going to have to try and focus up and then talk about this after the game, explain my moves after, because we don't have much time here. I highly doubt I win this game either. I'm hoping to activate my pieces a little. That's what I'm looking to do. And maybe put the knight here. We have 20 seconds, so we'll see if we can convert this. This is not looking good. Wait, they just have a fork. Just getting crushed. Although after this fork, maybe I play here. What am I missing? You can't do that now. We take. Okay, free piece. We'll pre-move this probably. Oh, that was a free piece. All right. This is not going to be fun. Okay. Remove this. Oh, we win a piece. Okay, we might be able to convert this. Oh, wait. We got it. Wow. Okay. I don't know if my opponent was cheating there. To be honest, those first few moves did not feel like I was playing a 500. We did get the win. Kind of had to focus up, so I'm going to try and explain some of these moves when we do an analysis because a lot of those moves I kind of had to fly through. But that's I guess that goes to show how you can do it under time trouble. Obviously, I didn't play a perfect game, and I had a blunder, which makes sense because I was speed running. I'm sure it happened at some point at the end. But let's look what the game happened because I want to know where I made mistakes. So, again, we take the pawn. This is an example where maybe you should consider not taking. This is kind of being greedy to take twice, but I wanted to see what the attack was about. Black's winning. We're up 0.55 according to the engine, so we're still crushing at this point. But all normal moves. See, the funny thing is getting in a losing position like that after this king e2 move and king going back is what really surprised me. Maybe this person's playing in some kind of Smurf account and this is like a a speed run they're doing, but it just felt wrong to me. So that was my blunder. Wow. Whoa, okay, hold on. There's a lot to unpack here. So knight takes d4 is a blunder. The reason we're doing it again is to double attack this. It's an obvious blunder. It's very simple, actually. It's simple because they can just take. Because queen d4. Queen d4, after takes back, they can actually take with the knight. So obviously that was a very obvious blunder. So I guess this video will be how to recover from a blunder. But anyways, they blundered back. Knight e5 is a miss. Because obviously queen d4, and they would have won a whole piece. But the thing about knight e5, it's actually a funny move because they're actually threatening checkmate. It's a kind of a funny looking checkmate. So if I take their queen, it's hilarious because it's checkmate in one. The knight covers and the bishop covers. So we're losing out of the opening, but they make this move. I was able to bring my bishop back. Usually putting your bishop on e6, or if you're playing white, putting it in front of the pawns like here or there is generally never a good move. And it's pretty obvious why, because as this game went on, it's hard to get my bishop and my rook out. But we go down these lines. The knight going here, it says it's best. If I were playing, I guess maybe I wouldn't do this simply because you're allowing the rook, but I really don't see where this move comes in. I don't think that's really a move that many people would play, at least not at 500 elo. I really don't feel that way. But anyways, we go here, we attack, and we castle. This was the tricky part, though. Rook d8 makes a lot of sense because, you still force this exchange, and you're attacking. But to me, it was a very similar position, and I didn't like having my king here. But I think the reason the engine likes this move, playing rook d8 rather than castling, is when I castle, notice where my king is. My king gets moved away from guarding this pawn. And although at a lower elo, you should still probably just give up the pawn. Obviously, you can't do it here, but you should do exactly what happened in the game, and you should just take this pawn. If you're at this elo, you know, that's what I'd probably recommend even for playing. If I was playing, black, like what I did in the game. If I was playing this, in a game, what you do is, this pawn, although it seems like you need to protect it, honestly, at this elo especially, you should just castle and give up the pawn. The pawn is not worth losing the game. But we made it work. We castled and we took. And this is the move, again, that I felt like was kind of just not what a 500 elo player would play. So the idea that I don't think they would play it is because the natural looking move, which is here, which falls to this move, b4. Yeah, it says b4 is best. That's the move I was worried if I'd see in the game, because that would be the move that would also kind of tell me, hey, maybe this player is not playing. A good rule of thumb, by the way, is if you want to see if a player is, potentially cheating, is you look when they joined. So this one joined February 10th, 2025. Usually when accounts are cheaters, it's because, you can look at their account and see, oh, well, they recently joined. It's probably because they recently got banned. That's a very common thing they do. Account gets banned, they'll make a new account. So anytime you see one that was recently joined, just you have to be cautious. So I really need to check those before the game rather than just jumping into it. But anyways, if I had seen before, it creates serious trouble because I can't go back because the knight covers, and I can't go forward because the knight covers. Can't go here, can't go here, can't go here. Honestly, in this position, I probably would have just sacrificed my knight. It does say it's the best move, and you would have gotten a position like this, which, of course, it says it's even. It is not easy to play this for black. But anyways, they actually went here, which surprised me because now when I play this move, which is probably what I should have played in the beginning, now b4 doesn't work because you actually have rook a3 or rook a4 attacking this pawn, or rook a3 attacks this bishop, and it kind of creates a little bit of problems. Like, let's say they tuck it away. It says it's a miss. Let's see. Bishop c1. I don't understand why it's exactly a horrible miss. I guess because you can go here and create breathing room for your pieces. So like after castle, well, they can't castle. After here, we have an attack going. So maybe that's why. But regardless, here b4 is obviously just not as threatening. Rook a3 is what I would have played probably in an instinct. Anyways, we go down this line, and they don't play it. The reason I go here, right? The biggest reason is I'm low on time. And what I'm looking at is, what are they doing? They're trying, let's say I play nothing. They're really trying to set this up. Of course, I could just go back, but when you only have 20 seconds or whatever, I really don't want to spend a ton of time analyzing it. It's just not worth it when you're in these low positions. So here the idea is, well, obviously if I get them to trade, this is amazing for me. I would take this any day of the week. But let's say they don't trade and they still try this trick. Well, I also have this square, so I didn't have to calculate, do I need to go forward or do I need to go back? I can always go back, which to me was an obvious kind of decision. But anyways, the game went on. I don't know why they pushed the pawn. I did this simply to create space. So, like, let's just say they go here. It's simply to create space. So I'm gambiting this pawn. There's really no good way that I see to defend it other than maybe knight back. And then the idea being, like, let's say here they go back, and I don't know, maybe a move like this. I'm not entirely sure. But that's the point of it, was simply to create space, give my bishop better, because you need to activate your pieces, especially at 500 elo. You need to be thinking about piece activity at all times. So we go down this this path. Here, it says it's a miss, and it's kind of obvious to me why. I didn't see it in the game, of course. I was more focusing on, like, trying to get my pieces to breathe. Two pieces, like, let's say you trade down, I give up a rook, which is worth 5, and these are worth 3. So 2 pieces are generally worth it for a rook. A rook is not as good as 2 pieces, especially 2 pieces that are in your position like this. Just get rid of them. It's not worth it. I should have just traded down, and it would have been much simpler even for me to convert this position than the one I got. But anyways, we played through. I go here to attack the bishop, and I'm trying to just, hope that maybe they miss this attack, and if they don't, it's fine. Like, even if they go back, I was fine with this. We've also got an attack here, maybe we can pick this up, and also we always have knight takes or rook takes d8. But anyways, we go down this line, and they give me a free bishop, and this was kind of the point where sometimes what people do is they cheat in the game. They cheat in the opening. They get a really strong position, and then they think, okay, I can win this game. And they stop cheating and they try to play themselves and they give up their points and their material. I've had that happen to me one time. I was playing a friend, and the friend didn't play a lot of chess, and I was playing them, and they were playing these amazing moves, and they were just crushing me. And then, maybe not crushing me, but they were beating me for sure. And I really didn't feel like at the elo they were at and the elo I was at that I should be losing to these kind of moves that they were finding. But anyways, at the end of the game, they decided they were winning by enough that they were going to just try and checkmate me. They actually just had a queen. They had a queen and a king. They had promoted a pawn. They had a queen and a king, and I had a king. That's all I had. I had no pieces. And they actually did stalemate, because they decided to play their own moves. They weren't cheating. They're like, how can I lose this? I have a queen. He doesn't have anything. And they ended up actually going into a draw. So I've had it happen to me before. People cheat and then they stop using the engine because they're like, I'm winning by so much. I'm not saying this what happened, but it's possible. Here, the obvious move is obviously to take, or you could, if you really wanted, you could just take your. I had 16 seconds, so it was not easy to find. But we go down this line again. They hung another rook to this fork, and here it's not that challenging. Although I only have 9 seconds, so I didn't have much time to think. This is an example of when your opponent moves a piece like this. If I have a rook and a knight and they only have a rook, just trade it. Even if it's not the best move in the position, just trade it down like I did, and then just mop up the pawns and promote to a queen. And then here, I mean, I don't know, the best way to play it. Yeah, I just had checkmate right here, but it was the same idea. I went, across the board. Their only move is here. It's the only move, or you can go here, but it's the same exact idea as checkmate because the king cuts off these two squares, and if they had went up, if they went, like, let's say, sorry, I'm trying to get to this position. If they went here, which is what happened in the game, it's still checkmate because the pawn covers this square and the queen covers this, and the queen goes here, and again, the king covers these squares. So it's hard to say whether I feel like my opponent was cheating in that, but generally I don't really feel like 500s find some of those moves, especially not sacrificing the queen. The move, I'm gonna go back to it. The move right here, that's a move that I don't think people generally find. Completely sacrificing the queen. Who knows? Maybe it was a mouse slip, but I just, and what makes this move so amazing is actually, like, if you think, the reason I went here, the reason I went to bishop e6 and not just, if you push the pawn to block the checkmate and thinking, okay, I'm still attacking the queen, I'm winning. Well, you're not, because now the knight just takes this, and after you take back, the queen takes. And this is even worse, because now the queen's looking here, so you can't develop your bishop, and it's also putting pressure on your knight. So the only move to stay in the game, really, was bishop e6, which is not an easy move to find because it blocks the pawns and obviously created issues later down the line. But it was a good game. I guess it shows how you can recover after a blunder like knight d4, and maybe how you can win low on time. I hope you all enjoyed it. And if you all have any suggestions for future videos, if you want to see anything, feel free to leave in the comments. Thank you all for watching.